Will I be the asshole for dumping my girlfriend after she ignored my calls and messages and went clubbing while I was undergoing emergency surgery? I, 22M, and my girlfriend, 22F, have been together for 5 years. We've been together since high school, and until recently, I've always considered her to be my future wife. I've even bought a ring and was planning on proposing over the coming months. Well, last weekend it was my girlfriend's best friend's birthday. She and her friends booked a private lounge at a club. Obviously, I didn't go since 1. I wasn't invited, and 2. I hate clubbing or anything associated with that. I was actually looking forward to spending an evening alone and just binging Netflix or something. Well, my GF left around 9 p.m., and I just crashed on the couch and watched some YouTube. Well, around 11 p.m., I started to feel this distinct stomach pain. The same pain you experience when someone hits you in the nuts. It wasn't bad at first, and I just thought my body was playing some tricks on me, but in the span of about 5 minutes, the pain just kept getting worse until I was basically stuck in the fetal position on the couch. Again, initially, I just thought the pain would go, but then I pulled down my pants, and it felt like my right testicle was starting to swell. The moment I tried to get up and grab my phone to inspect whatever the fuck was happening to me, I just collapsed to the floor. That was probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Imagine being pelted in the nuts over and over again. I did manage to crawl to the table next to the couch to get my phone. I immediately tried calling my GF, but she declined my call. I then texted her that something was wrong and she could come home immediately. The club she went to is like a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I just put the phone down and started throwing up because of the pain. After throwing up for like a minute, it felt like the pain started to cool down a bit, and I grabbed my phone again, and that's when I saw her response. She just replied with a, "What is it?" unamused. I tried calling her again, but as expected, she just declined again. I then texted her that I need to go to the hospital now. She then asked for what, and I just replied with my balls hurt. I then just dialed for emergency services. I explained my situation to the emergency responder, and she asked if there was somebody that could drive me to the hospital, and I stupidly said yes. I thought my GF would be home soon, and she would drive me to the hospital. I felt embarrassed to call an ambulance because my balls hurt. After I told the emergency responder this, she then told me that she would call me again in 10 minutes to make sure I was being driven to the hospital. I then put down the phone and went back to vomiting on our carpet. Again, after the pain went away for a bit, I checked my phone and saw that my GF just responded with laughing emojis. I again tried to call her, but as expected, she just declined again. She texted me that this wasn't the time to play games, and she then told me that if I texted or called her again, she would block my number. I again tried calling her, but she declined again, and when I tried calling her a second time, I realized she actually blocked me. I went back to curling up on the floor, and now I started shivering. At this point, I didn't care about being embarrassed and just called emergency services again and asked for an ambulance. It felt like an eternity, but the ambulance eventually came and rushed me to the hospital. I don't remember much of surgery since I was sedated, but I remember waking up eventually, and my right testicle was being stitched together. The doctor informed me that I had a testicular torsion, and I was extremely lucky to reach the hospital in time. I could have easily been forced to surgically remove my testicle. I checked my phone and saw the missed calls and messages my GF left me. In summary, she came home from clubbing and smelled the vomit in our apartment. When she saw the vomit on our carpet, she got mad and tried searching the apartment to find me. When she realized I wasn't there, only then did it hit her that I was actually being serious. I just texted her in which hospital I was staying in and my room number, then went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and saw my GF sleeping on a couch next to my bed. After she woke up, she started bombarding me with apologies. She thought I was joking, that I was trying to ruin their night, etc. I didn't have the energy to argue, so I just kept quiet. I was beyond hurt by what she did, and I wanted to break up with her then and there. Why the fuck would somebody ignore messages where their partner is begging them to come home? Not only that, she stayed in the club until 3 a.m. and didn't even consider going home to check on me. She did stay with me in the hospital for the remaining 2 days I was admitted there and did take good care of me, but I was still beyond pissed at her. Ever since coming home yesterday, I've been wanting to dump her, but at the same time, I feel like she genuinely thought I was joking and made a mistake. I feel conflicted and don't know how to proceed in this situation. WIBTA if I dumped her? Am I overreacting? How would you guys navigate this mess? Edit. Just to clarify. No, I never had an issue with her going out in the first place or have ever pulled pranks for her to come home from a night out. And by the way, thank you guys so much for the support. I am beyond blown away. Now to the second story. Am I the jerk for refusing to sign my house over to my mother? Quick background. About 8 years ago, my mother called and complained that she couldn't afford to pay her property taxes and insurance on her home. She is on Social Security, but her home was paid off. She said the home was mine after she died, and offered to sign the house over to me in exchange for paying the property taxes and insurance. Roughly $2,000 per year. The catch is that she could live there for free until she died. Everything was going well until about 3 years ago. She calls me up out of the blue and demands that I sign my house back over to her so she can give it to her grandson, my nephew. He moved in a few years before, without my knowledge. I refused and told her that he couldn't afford to pay the expenses on the house and they would lose it. She then threatened to turn me over to Adult Protective Services for stealing her home, call my employer, and the state license board, blast me on social media for being a thief, and in general try to ruin my life. I asked what she would do if I did sign the house over to her. She said that she would get a mortgage on the house to pay me back for everything I put into the home. I told her that I wouldn't allow that to happen. If I signed the house over to her, she would end up homeless and I can't afford to rent her a place to live. The deal was for her to live there until she died. If she persists in trying to ruin my life, I would just evict her. Fortunately, she backed down. 3 years later, minimum contact with her, never been happier. She contacted me to tell me that the HVAC unit was out and I needed to get someone to fix it. Over the past 3 years, I had paid off her washer, dryer and bought a new stove for the house. I called my HVAC guys, yes, I have one I trust, and had a new HVAC unit installed. The old one was 35 plus years old. So $10,000 later, the old unit is replaced. Now she started leaving messages requesting more things, getting the trees in front cut down, buying her coffee. I called her back and said that I just dropped $10,000 into the home she is living at for free. I don't have money lying around to give to her. I have a dedicated burner phone for her to call. I refuse to give her my real number. I think I am being very reasonable. Am I being the **** hole? And to the last story of the day. AITA for cheating on my husband? Over 6 months ago, my 36F husband, 37M, asked for an open relationship after 14 years together. I didn't like the idea, and it turned out he had already started an affair with his coworker. I tried to at least set some boundaries around what this open relationship would look like, but he violated every one. He then decided we would have a don't ask, don't tell open relationship. 2 months ago, he told me he wanted to divorce me for this other woman. We're still cohabiting for the time being, and have yet to file for divorce, for practical reasons, though I have fully accepted it is happening. We had been doing so amicably until last week. Shortly after my husband told me he wanted a divorce, I met someone unexpectedly. It's progressed into something romantic only within the past couple of weeks, and nothing physical has happened yet, nor will anytime soon. I assumed my husband suspected something, but since we were separated and he was with someone else, I wasn't about to bring it up. I was on the phone with this person, behind a locked door in my bedroom, when my husband barged in, to ask about dinner. It was early afternoon, and he already had dinner plans with our daughter. He must have been standing outside the door, because he overheard some of the, admittedly spicy, conversation on the phone. He was furious with me, and has mostly been giving me the silent treatment since. He was upset that I was having such a conversation while he and our daughter were in the house, though he's done the same with his girlfriend, that I had moved on, so fast, etc. I was really shocked by this. Not only did I think he already at least suspected, and had seemed fine with it, but doesn't want me anymore, so why is he upset that someone else does? He is behaving as if, and seems to believe, on some level, that I'm cheating on him. I've never seen him so upset, and I feel very bad. Have I done something wrong? Is he right to be so upset? AITA, TLDR, my soon-to-be ex-husband is upset that I'm already moving on, as we are still legally married, but I've had permission to see other people for over 6 months. This was also his third, that I know of, affair. I have never cheated, until now.